And hello, I'm EnterElysium, and welcome back to World War K. We need to go save Jeb, since he's landed on the other side of the planet. He hasn't landed in the Styx Dominion or in the Northern Allied territories, but it's likely that they'll be looking for him, since they'll undoubtedly have seen something going on up there. Now, the cover-up we've gone for is an accident during a routine training exercise. We're investigating the asteroid with the Corvette, and the reactor went critical, and somehow the asteroid had some kethane in it, and that reacted badly. Anyway, yeah, there was a whole load of radiation and stuff given off, which nicely explains the radiation on the command pod. Now, somebody did point out, though, that we probably want to salvage the command pod in addition to Jeb, because if we don't, and someone else does, they might go, this does look like nuclear explosion radiation. And also, you know, there's a flight computer. We can try and destroy the flight computer, that's fine, but I don't know, if they've got better technology, they might be able to salvage some of it, and they also might be able to tell the difference between the radiation from a critical nuclear reaction, where the reactor goes critical, and an atomic detonation. What happened in those situations is that the neutron radiation given out would actually induce radiation in other things. People go on about fusion power being like, oh, fusion power, it's totally clean. It's not. Fusion power gives off neutron radiation, which causes the very reactor itself to become radioactive. Rather than just dumping bits of radioactive stuff everywhere, which is what fission does, fusion goes, yeah, I've got no byproducts, except for everything that's used to make the reactor. We can make that radioactive, because it basically, all these neutrons come out, change the isotopes of the elements that make up all the reactor core, the reactor shielding and stuff, and turn them into radioactive materials. Also damages them. So they need replacing. So you need to replace the radioactive parts. But anyway, yeah. So the command pod's probably got some induced radioactivity in it, and we hope they can't tell the difference. But yeah, we're going to try and pick that up along with Jeb. So we've got this plane, and we're going to put a little hovering airship thingy. So the airship will be able to be deployed from the plane, go over, use the Kerbal attachment system to pick up the command pod, dump it inside the plane. We'll leave the floating thing behind. We don't need that. And then we fly off with the command pod inside the space plane jet thing. It's not really going to be a space plane. More like a high altitude jet. Now, the inspiration I'm going off of this, so it's very different, is the SR-71 Blackbird. Now, the SR-71 Blackbird is one hell of an amazing plane. I mean, some people are like, oh, the F-22 Raptor's amazing, blah, 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 blah. Well, the F-22 Raptor's, it's good, but it's just really good. That's, you know, it goes faster, it's got stealth stuff. Nothing in it is completely amazingly, groundbreakingly, but the same, I think it's the same division of Lockheed who came up with the F-22, also came up with the F-117 Nighthawk, and they also came up with the SR-71 Blackbird, the SR-71 Blackbird being a stealth reconnaissance plane. Low radar cross-section, etc., but the best part of it was, well, how do you take pictures and stuff in really dangerous areas, because you're just going to get shot down? Well, what would happen if the plane was going so fast a missile couldn't catch it? You're crazy. But apparently the Skunk Works division at Lockheed Martin thought that was a good idea, and they did it. They made the SR-71 Blackbird, which goes normally, it's top normal cruise speed, like this isn't like outside its normal range, is Mach 3.2. That's a lot faster than any missile I know of. It's just insane. It's one of these crazy ideas where, you know, they must have been extremely high or drunk, and someone went, you know, this problem with our stealth reconnaissance planes getting shot down, yeah. Well, what if they were going too fast for the missile to catch? That would be a good one. And instead of just being called crazy, they made the plane. They made 36 in the end. 12 of them were destroyed in accidents, but none of them were ever taken down by enemy action. Yeah, and they regularly just would do reconnaissance, and if they were shot at, they'd just accelerate. The shock cone intakes moved around so that they could get basically they're very early and crude ramjets. It actually held the record for the longest sustained flight top speed, which was like just shy of 3.3 Mach. And they also made a flight from the US to the UK in less than 2 hours, with refueling in between, which they had to slow down for, of course. It's just insane. Like, 85% of the materials that went up to making the superstructure were made out of titanium alloys, because they needed something that was that resistant to the forces and the heat involved. Titanium, like, the impurities and so on meant that they were throwing 90% of the stuff away that they were getting manufactured because it had too high levels of impurities. When welding with the titanium, they couldn't weld it in oxygen. They had to use argon gas to make sure nothing would react with it, to make sure they had the highest purities possible. This thing was made so that it leaked fuel. And then when it took off and was in flight, it would heat up from the engines and the friction to the point where the panels and the structure would expand and close the leaks in the fuel tank. So when it landed and when it was before takeoff, it was leaking fuel as part of the design. This was designed and went into service, I think it was 68? This is before all modern technology that we take for granted, really. And these guys were making something that went that fast and incredibly high. I think it was something like 24-kilometer altitude. On landing, the whole thing was something like 300 degrees centigrade because of the friction, and air crews were told not to go anywhere near it for a little while, just to let it cool down. I don't know if that's true or not, because obviously they'd have to slow down for landing for quite a while. But it's just, the thought behind it is insane. I mean, the Raptor's good. People will often fanboy about the Raptor because, it's a modern plane. We often fanboy about the stuff that we're more used to. But the Raptor's just a good plane. I mean, you've got the Eurofighter, that's a good plane. You've got the Russian, what's the new one called? The MiG thing. Oh, the new Russian one, that's meant to be really good. Now let's just test this. And oops, I hit the gear button, not the brake button. See, I originally wanted to put this in the cargo bay, but it wouldn't. It was clipping, and then every time I tried to release it, it would just explode. Whoopsie. Little too buoyant there. A little too unbuoyant. Oh crap. There we go, I've got the propeller on. Sounds kind of weird. I think that's because the clip sped up to 4 times. Sounds like just background noise. Urgh. Now I had to reinstall the Firespitter mod, and I installed the Holligan Labs airship mod just for this episode. Just to make this work. I don't normally run with either of them. Right, so we know that works. Now let's try testing the actual plane. Now the problem is with this sort of design for the hull, the engines on the back, it looks cool, but the problem is you don't have the big RAM air intakes for the Saviour engines from the B9. So I've chucked them on the front there, and I've also chucked an extra 2 engines on the back as well. So we should get a plenty of thrust, but I don't know about the fuel efficiency or whether that's going to be a decent place to put the engines. Like, it might cause some weird oscillations. Now, these wings are the procedural wings by DYJ, which are kind of amazing, but also it's annoying to put flaps on them. I think he said he was going to make procedural, not flaps, sorry, aerofoils, not aerofoils, ailerons? Yeah, ailerons. He was going to make procedural ailerons for them, but I don't know if he's got round to it yet. I need to check them out. Okay. Before anyone says, oh, you didn't check the center of lift and the center of mass. I did. The center of lift is behind the center of mass's design. I made sure. I don't know why it's flipping backwards. That's normally when the center of lift is in front. Let's try again. Close that. These engines are pretty amazing. They're a little bit OP in that they're just so badass. But anyone who doesn't know, these are Saviour engines. They're both air-breathing and rocket engines, depending on how you flip them around, and they're really efficient. Eject quickly. Wait, you're not. I swear I'd installed the Vanguard ejection system, but for some reason, Anyway, I've changed the location of the engines. I also figured out why the ejecting wasn't working. You need to download 2 different parts for the Vanguard plugin and then put them together, which is strange. The reason given was because some mods need one part of it. Well, why not just ship one as complete and then one as a separate? I couldn't find, like, it didn't say anywhere to... Anyway, let's try a redesign, because I suck at planes. Leave the planes behind. It just... No. No. I don't want to touch planes again. Now, some of you might be like, why is this a balloon? You need to get there fast, yeah? Because the Northern Outer Territories and the sticks might be on their way already. You need to get there fast. Ah. It's a balloon that will be taken to its location by rocket. So probably get there faster than the plane would have. Now I've got 2 large solar panels because we're going to be needing the magnet attachment. We've got a large RTG from this, I can't remember what the RTG pack is called. RTG being really thermal generator. This one's like a 1.5 ton RTG, which makes up about 40% of the weight of that thing. But it should allow us to run the magnet and a tiny bit of propulsion for the fan. I've learnt my lesson from before. You need the power. Right. So let's launch this puppy. Now, because we're on a non-orbital trajectory, I think it's, what is it, sub-orbital? Sub-orbital trajectory, we won't actually be using any of the MacLeod stuff to take us to orbit. We're just going to take one highly ballistic arc, push our apparatus, well, when we get to apparatus we'll push round so we get further round, and then we'll come straight down. That's an incredible speed. Very quick way to travel. It has been suggested before that in the future suborbital rocket ships might be used to get from point A to point B, like take like what's like an hour and a half or whatever to get from London to New York or whatever. Now of course the problem is that I don't know how fuel efficient they are. I very much doubt they're fuel efficient, and also you're basically relying on one big ass falling object to be under control when it's on its way down, which is a little bit of a curiosity. Also, airline companies are very, very crap when it comes to innovation. I mean, there's a lot of evidence pointing to delta wing aircraft being absolutely amazing for fuel efficiency, and no airline company has bothered to well, airline companies are different. The airline manufacturer, the engineers like Lockheed and so on, none of them actually bothered to look into it because they can't bother to spend their money on something that, you know, is probably going to be expensive to investigate. So there's not much innovation going on there. Of course, when it comes to the military will give them a lot of money to investigate stuff. It's not their own money, it's fine. Yep, I forgot to release the fairings, and I think that's taken off one of our solar panels. Overshot a little bit. Deploy the airship, and I think we're about 50 kilometers away. Should probably put that on kill rot, yeah. Yes, it does say smartass. Well done. For those of you who pointed out, you are indeed a smartass. Right, that's going to take a while. So let's just skip ahead, and we're getting close now. Jeb's hopefully still inside. Now I'm just gonna while we set up the this maneuver, just gonna mention what we're planning. I've had a look at the upcoming transfer windows. We've got a transfer window to Moho, Juna, and Jewel coming up within the next month in KSP, and I'm quite tempted to send a colonization fleet to one of them. Probably Juna, because the problem with Jewel is that it's got a lot of radiation. Like its moons sit right in its magnetic influence, and they get a whole shitload of radiation captured and spun around it, and it's not particularly habitable unless you take a lot of radiation shielding. I only just discovered that you can do this whole UI thing with the Kerbal attachment system, which is amazing. It's so helpful. But yeah, Moho's pretty meh. I think it's like the closest one though, but I think we'll probably just go to Juna and set up an entire colony there for research, and also the mining of Kethane, because Kerbin doesn't have that much Kethane on board, and it would be great to be great to be able to set up our own Kethane mining facility off-world. We can do what we please. We can also mine for some ores and stuff and build spaceships on Juna, which has a lower gravity and a thinner atmosphere, so it'll be easier to send spaceships around. Ah, yes, we've got it. Let's just tow it in. That worked really well. Really quite easy. I expected it to be a lot harder. But yeah. Anyway, no, we're still going to do the whole moon base idea for ships, but the colony's going to take a while to get to Juna. The transfer is going to take quite a while. Oh crap. There's an explosion. What got injured? Nothing got injured. I can't see anything damaged. Still got a solar panel. Anyway, yeah. So while that's on the way to Juna, we'll set up a moon base. We'll mine some chemicals on the moon, and then we'll start sending ships away from the moon to do missions, because, you know, incredibly low atmosphere, gravity, no atmosphere, and yeah, gives us a massive advantage there. Of course, the Styx Corporation may be planning their own similar things, so we can only hope that that's not the case. I'm just going to get over land. We're going to put this down, and then we're going to flip out the electromagnet, because I just remembered that the Corvette actually has a docking port on the bottom for the Kerbal attachment system. So we'll get rid of the magnet. We'll just attach manually, which will give us A, a more stable connection. B, we don't have to worry about power loss, because we lose power still attached, whereas with the magnet we'll drop it, which would be bad. And we've also got to check Jeb's still on board. Has not been captured or anything, so let's just put her down gently. Gently. I have no idea how far away we are from the ground here. I haven't got any lights or anything. I could probably use MechJeb to tell me, but I should have probably brought lights. I don't even know why I brought a solar panel. I should have anticipated that we were going into darkness. Right. There we go. Should have probably looked some landing legs as well. That would have been helpful. Oh well. It's fine. Right. Eject. Yep. That's a cool way to do it. Knock, knock, knock. Jeb, are you in? Jeb is indeed on board. Our hero, our saviour, Jebediah Kerman, is alive and well. Right, well, Jeb's going to have to get back inside his command pod, since there's only room for one on board the currently it's called the EA/SV, so Elysium Aero/Space Vehicle, experimental, 2 I think. Yeah, X2. So it's the experimental 2. The plane being the X1. Right, we're connected. We need a good name for it if we're going to use it again. If it just ends up being mothballed after this one mission, then we don't really need to bother, but... we can't really jump that, right? Let's just take control of it and roll it over, because I've attached a probe for just this this happening, incident, thing. So yeah, right, let's, no rolling? Okay, let's make you buoyant, and then put you down again. Yep, and down. Oh, we've lost our solar panel. Oh! You're kidding me! Oh, it looks like Jeb and his Saviour are going to be captured. Unless they can evade enemy patrols now. Anyway. I've been EnterElysium. Next time, we build a fleet. Yep. World War K every Friday. Yeah, like and subscribe if you liked, and if you're not subscribed. If you didn't like, then, I don't know, say in the comments what I could do differently. If you did like, tell me in the comments what you liked, and I'll make sure I keep doing that. I don't know. Yeah, I try to read the comments, and yeah, everyone, stay shiny. Oh, also, I'm doing a giveaway for having 10,000 subscribers. I'm giving away games. Games. Anyway, yeah, go check out my regular roundup video number 3, which was like released yesterday on my channel. And yeah, cool. And also submit questions to the Ask Me Anything I'll be doing as my 10K special. So cool. Right. Have a good one, guys. I'll catch you later.